Ladies and gentlemen, I have always opined on this platform that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence, and that everything in politics is actually well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Nothing in politics just happens for the sake of it. Why do you think Miguna Miguna applied for the position of the Director of Public Prosecution in the Republic of Kenya? What was his objective? And why do you think the selection panel, which was appointed by none other than William Ruto, could not even shortlist Miguna Miguna? Because according to Miguna Miguna, he's actually qualified. This is what Miguna Miguna posted a few days ago, because I want us to look at two things in this video. Why Miguna Miguna could not be appointed, the real reasons why Ruto rejected Miguna Miguna, and what next for Miguna Miguna. This is what Miguna Miguna posted. Because when Miguna Miguna made it public that he had applied for this position, two things happened. Number one, majority of Azimio supporters were eager to see whether Ruto can actually appoint Miguna Miguna. Because deep down, they knew there was no way Miguna Miguna was going to be appointed. And the other thing which happened was that Boniface Mwangi actually told Miguna Miguna that he should forget that these guys are not even going to consider his application. Now, this is what Miguna Miguna said, because I know for sure that if Kenyans were really looking for the best Director of Public Prosecution, two people for me would have fitted the bill. And they are both in UDA. Maybe three. Two, let me just talk of two. The first person would have been Nelson Havi, would have been the ideal. The other one would have been Miguna Miguna. But Miguna Miguna did not even make it to the shortlist. This is what Miguna Miguna is saying, that the minimum academic qualification was 1 law degree. University degree, I had 3. So which means on that, he was qualified. The second one was at least 15 years of legal practice or experience. According to Miguna Miguna, I have 28 years of legal practice experience in good standing, which means he also passed that. The third one were clearance certificates from HELP, DCI, EACC, a credit union. I had all of them, and it's continuing, plus letters of recommendation from solid professionals. I am focused like a laser beam, Viva, and Cheers. Now the question is, with Miguna Miguna's qualification, do you want to tell me that this selection panel could not even shortlist? Because the truth of the matter is that the position of the Director of Public Prosecution is supposed to be an independent office. But in real sense, the appointment is normally done by the president. The president influences that appointment. And from the list which is here, I can predict at least 3 people who have high chances of being appointed to this position. But why do you think Ruto was not comfortable with Miguna Miguna as the next deputy director, as the next Director of Public Prosecution? And what next for Miguna Miguna? And that's why I began by saying that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Is it possible that Miguna Miguna actually applied for this position knowing so well that he was not going to be considered, and therefore he wanted to create an excuse of exiting Kenya Kwanza? Or is it possible that William Ruto has a different idea on where he's definitely going to place Miguna Miguna? In this video, I want us to look at those two things. Before we do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And for this particular video, guys, please give it thumbs up. And I want to also thank the following people. I received the coffee you sent me. I'm so grateful. You can also do the same using the numbers you are seeing on your screen. It goes a long way in helping me creating more content. Now, guys, let us dive in. Why is it that the application of Miguna Miguna for the position of the Director of Public Prosecution attracted a lot of interest? Two reasons. Number one, It's because Miguna Miguna himself made it public. You know, when you apply for a job, it's there. Of course, the media or an insider can leak. But for this matter, Miguna Miguna himself is the one who leaked out. Number two is Miguna Miguna as a factor in Kenyan politics. Now, let us go back. In 2018, I think April there, Miguna Miguna was deported back to Canada. By that time, Miguna Miguna was the leader of NRM. As you are aware, Miguna Miguna actually campaigned and voted for Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto during the 2017 election. Then, immediately after the results were disputed, he came and joined NASA at that time, and he automatically took the role of the general, Miguna Miguna, the general. Then, he was deported. And one of the problems I've always had with Raila Odinga, why during the handshake he could not bring Miguna Miguna back into the country. But as fate would have it, when William Ruto took over office, he facilitated the return of Miguna Miguna back into the country.
Tupate salamu za Mheshimiwa Rais, turudi nyuma, tusije tukawaziba mkuu wa jeshi la ulinzi na hata wakuu wa vikosi mbalimbali.
He did that because Miguna Miguna actually endorsed William Ruto's presidency.
I, Miguna Miguna, hereby declare that Kenyans who are committed to freedom and the rule of law should vote for William Ruto on August 9th.
So around October last year, Miguna Miguna successfully came back into the country. And I remember Miguna Miguna making his first visit to State House. And when Miguna Miguna came into the country again, Miguna Miguna was very clear that he was going to fight Raila Odinga and he was going to liberate the Luos. He became a darling of UDA. But as fate would have it, he failed on the mission. Probably that's why he missed out. But why do you think Miguna Miguna was not even shortlisted? For me, number one, if you look at Miguna Miguna and you look at Ruto, ideologically, they don't converge at a point. Their thinking are totally different. Miguna Miguna is a man who believes in the rule of law. And Miguna Miguna is independent. He speaks his mind. There is no way William Ruto would have allowed Miguna Miguna to be the Director of Public Prosecution when their ideology don't converge. That's the fact. When William Ruto cannot control Miguna Miguna, that's a fact. For example, recently there was this story of the CS Bore trying to grab some property in Karen. Miguna Miguna made a point. Just listen to him and tell me if this is someone who can serve William Ruto's interest.
Patriots, this is very important. This has to be said today. It's urgent. Impunity must end. No one is above the law. I am going to speak about the tendency of public officers, appointed and elected, who believe that they have to rush to live in expensive neighborhoods, even when they don't have the money. CS Bore must resign today, must resign now. She must resign for abuse of power. She must resign for misusing police officers. The explanation she has given makes no sense for anyone with a rudimentary understanding of law. An offer to buy property is not a sale. It's not an acceptance of a sale. It does not give you permission to move into someone's property by force, using police, and occupy it. Whether you have children or not, whether you are abroad or not, doesn't matter. When properties are on sale, many people make offers.
So because of their ideology, there was no way Miguna Miguna was going to be appointed. Number two is Miguna Miguna's Luo factor. The truth of the matter is that Miguna Miguna is a Luo. In this country, the government is a shareholding. There are certain positions in this Republic of Kenya which are not just dished out. The office of the Director of Public Prosecution plays a critical role for determining which case is terminated, which case is initiated, which case is taken up. So you need someone who is a puppet. In this country, Luos are known to adhere to professional ethics. Now you add Miguna Miguna to that factor. And of course, being a Luo also disadvantaged Miguna Miguna. There was no way. You know, William Ruto was in Nyanza the other day. He was like, oh, Ogolla is now the head of the military because blah, blah. The truth of the matter is that by the time Uhuru Kenyatta was leaving, there was no way he was going to be overlooked. If William Ruto had his way, he would have appointed someone else. He would have appointed Badi. But he could not have appointed Badi. Why? Because Badi, as a Somali, and we had a minister for defense, a Somali, and there's so many appointments which he had made, Kenyans were going to make noise. And of course, Ogolla is also retiring very soon. So he just agreed. And because of the Luo in Miguna Miguna, there was no way. There was no way. Number 3, in my view, there was no way William Ruto was going to appoint Miguna Miguna, considering his past association with Raila Amolo Odinga. And it's simple. If Miguna Miguna could betray Raila Odinga, go and write a book about Raila Odinga, what would stop Miguna Miguna from writing a book about William Ruto? You see, as the Director of Public Prosecution, the president would, in most cases, tell him, "Apo finya huku, apa finya huku." What would stop him if he could do that to Raila Odinga? And that's the fact. Trust issues. If you've been following William Ruto's appointment, there is a way he's making his appointment. He appoints people who have been loyal to him. He's not gambling. William Ruto is not gambling with his appointments. If you take, for example, Omolo Ray, that's someone who has been with Ruto. He was with Uhuru. Then when Uhuru entered into handshake with Raila, he said for him, he can't work with Raila. He went back to Ruto. So Ruto understands that someone like Omolo cannot. But if you look at Miguna, Miguna fell out with Raila, wrote 3 books, said all things he could say about Raila, then he still came back to Raila in 2017. So Ruto is looking at him. You think, I don't know, you can use this position to mend your fences with Raila. And if you could betray Raila, what tells you can't betray me? And the last reason why I think Miguna Miguna was not even shortlisted is because of the way William Ruto has operated with Miguna Miguna in the past. Those who are in the know will tell you that Miguna Miguna's books about Raila Odinga were actually sponsored by none other than William Samoei Ruto. So their relationship has always been on transaction. Una leta hii. So I don't think Ruto would allow him, will reward him with position. And maybe UDA might also not be comfortable with him because he might actually peel the mask back. But what next for Miguna Miguna? He's now here. He's now the laughing stock. He's not been appointed. Maybe all positions have now gone. What next? For me, number 1, because of shame, Miguna Miguna can push for William Ruto to appoint him to some board, maybe a chair of a board. Then he can be given a government vehicle, drives around. Then he can go to Nyanda and tell the people of Nyanda, okay, I'm now a senior government official. But again, if Raila Odinga could appoint him to the position, the higher position of advisor, which was equivalent to permanent secretary then again, he can't really brag. But Ruto should give him something. Number 2, he can retreat back to his law firm. Because from all indications, if you ask me, politics is not Miguna thing. Miguna Miguna can just go back to his roots, focus on politics, on his law firm, build a reputation, continue working, because age is also not on his side. And lastly, I also tend to think that he still has a chance of retracing his roots back to Azimio. Miguna Miguna is a house maker. He can then make a comeback to Azimio. He can use this opportunity to start attacking Ruto. And slowly by slowly, because in Kenyan politics, there's nothing like principle. There's nothing like taking a stand. He can then make a comeback to Azimio. And once he's in Azimio, there's still enough time for him to really entrench himself. And when he entrenches himself, then I see the possibility of Miguna Miguna making it to the Senate of Kenya through ODM. Because Ojienda is going for the governor, and that governor seat is also not going to make any impact. So there's a vacancy in Kisumu senatorial seat. Unless you guys want to sponsor me for that position, I can easily take it. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.